Hello, everyone. Today, we are talking about a man who was considered one of the most influential economic voices in the world for decades. Former Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan is no longer with us. He passed away at his home due to complications from Parkinson's disease. His death was confirmed by his wife, Andrea Mitchell, a well-known American journalist. Alan Greenspan was not just an economist. He was a man whose decisions influenced global financial markets, businesses, and the lives of millions of people. For nearly 2 decades, he led the United States Federal Reserve and guided the economy through some of the most significant financial crises and historic events of modern times. Alan Greenspan was born on March 6, 1926, in New York City. His childhood was not easy. After his parents separated, he was raised by his mother and grandparents. Interestingly, economics was not his first passion. During his younger years, he loved music. He studied at the famous Juilliard School, learned to play the clarinet, and even spent some time performing saxophone in a swing band. Over time, however, his interests shifted toward mathematics, statistics, and economics. That passion eventually led him to New York University, where he pursued higher education in economics. Later, Greenspan became closely associated with the renowned philosopher and novelist Ayn Rand. Rand was a strong supporter of free markets and capitalism, and her ideas had a profound influence on Greenspan's economic thinking. Those beliefs would later become visible in many of his policy decisions. During the 1970s, Alan Greenspan played an important role in the U.S. government and served as chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors under President Gerald Ford. However, his rise to global prominence began in 1987 when President Ronald Reagan appointed him chairman of the Federal Reserve. It was one of the most powerful economic positions in the world. Only a few weeks after taking office, the U.S. stock market suffered one of the worst crashes in history, known as Black Monday. Many feared that the American economy was heading toward a severe downturn. Greenspan responded quickly, providing liquidity to financial markets and working to restore confidence. Many economists believe these actions helped prevent a much deeper recession. The 1990s are widely regarded as the golden era of Greenspan's career. Under his leadership, the U.S. economy experienced remarkable growth. From March 1991 to March 2001, the country enjoyed nearly a decade of uninterrupted economic expansion, one of the longest growth periods in American history. Unemployment fell, businesses expanded, and the stock market reached record highs. As a result, Greenspan became something of a superstar in the world of economics and finance. One of his most celebrated achievements was recognizing that rising productivity would help keep inflation under control during the mid-1990s. At the time, many economists argued that interest rates should be increased, but Greenspan chose a different path. In the years that followed, his judgment appeared to be correct as economic growth continued without significant inflationary pressure. Like many influential figures, however, his legacy also includes controversy. In the early 2000s, the U.S. housing market began expanding rapidly. Banks issued more loans, and property prices continued to rise. At first, many saw this as a sign of economic strength. Eventually, however, the situation developed into a massive housing bubble. When that bubble burst, the world entered the devastating financial crisis of 2007 to 2009. Critics argued that Greenspan's easy monetary policies and support for limited financial regulation helped lay the foundation for the crisis. While some economists disagree with that assessment, there is little doubt that the financial collapse damaged his reputation. Greenspan later admitted that he had placed too much faith in financial institutions to act responsibly in their own long-term interests. That admission became one of the defining moments of his later career. Throughout his time at the Federal Reserve, Greenspan faced numerous global challenges. He guided the U.S. economy through the recession of the early 1990s, the Asian financial crisis, the Russian financial crisis, the collapse of the dot-com bubble, and the economic consequences of the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. During each crisis, financial markets around the world closely watched his decisions. At one point, he was often described as the second most powerful person in America after the president. Greenspan was also famous for his complex communication style. His speeches and statements were often so carefully worded that economists and journalists would spend hours analyzing every sentence. He once joked that after joining the Federal Reserve, he learned a new language called Fed speak, a language that seemed to say everything while appearing to say nothing at all. His personal life was equally interesting. In 1997, he married journalist Andrea Mitchell. The two had known each other for many years. According to Mitchell, Greenspan's communication style was sometimes so complicated that it took time to fully understand even his early marriage proposals. At the age of 80, Alan Greenspan retired from the Federal Reserve in 2006. He later established his own consulting firm and continued advising businesses and institutions on economic matters. Although debates about his legacy continue to this day, most observers agree on one point. Alan Greenspan had an extraordinary influence on the direction of the global economy. He became a symbol of an era when central bankers were not merely policymakers, but major figures on the world stage. With his passing, an important chapter in economic history has come to an end. His achievements, mistakes, and decisions will continue to be studied and debated for generations. Alan Greenspan's name will remain a permanent part of the story of modern economics.